In this tutorial, we were going to take a look at dimensioning the horizontal guide. As you can see here, I have decimal places to 3 decimal points, and by default we were using 2 decimal places. This dimension really drives the fact that we have to use 3 decimal places, because if not, it's rounded off to 1.63 and is specified as 1.625. So this is a dimension style edit, and we're going to take a look at how we modify that. Another thing with this tutorial is dimensioning circles and arcs. Arcs will always be in radius, circles or holes or will always be in diameter. This one also has fillets, and fillets and rounds are typically dimensioned in a note off to the side, so we will be adding text. Another aspect is that all of this dimension text needs to match not only in style but in size. We will be referencing some of our dimensioning rules here. I think I would have them handy. So initially, I got to turn mine back. Under dimension style, you are set to a precision of only 2 decimal places. And this is something we will go back and change momentarily. But I'm going to show you where the problem exists. So as we dimension the placement of the circles, for every circle or hole there's at least 3 dimensions: the horizontal placement, the vertical placement, and the diameter of the hole. You dimension from the center mark. That way you will get a gap between the extension line and the center mark. As you can see, this dimension is at 2 decimal places. So this is the problem that we want to address. To edit your dimension style, you can do it by typing in the dynamic input, start typing in dimension style, and then you will get this dialog box. We are going to modify this. Now granted, this will modify it for the entire workspace. So don't be alarmed that your other drawings change as well. We are still in decimal format, but instead of 2 decimal places, we want to go to 3. Another thing that while we're in here we're going to address is the text size. The text size is 0.18, and this could change, but if we leave this at 0.18, the only thing we have to change is the text size of the dimensioning note later. The arrowhead size needs to match. So the only thing that we have really changed right now is the number of decimal places, or the precision. Once I hit OK and close this dialog box, the dimension changed to having 3 decimal places. Now this will carry out through all of the other dimensions that we are creating for this part. Distance from center to center, distance from center to center. I'm just going to go through and dimension all the aspects of this drawing. I'm going to stick with my linear dimensions first, since I have that tool active. Overall length, overall width, and overall height are great ones to eliminate right away. Distance across the top is a feature that you have dimensioned. The height of the base material. So this one was missed. If possible, we want to put the dimension in between the extension lines, and this 0.75 fits quite nicely. But doing that in a location like this, being that we are at 3 decimal places, it doesn't lend itself well to putting this between the arrowheads. It doesn't fit. It's not promoting clarity. So from here, I have all of my linear dimensions completed. For radius or diameter, we have to choose that radius or that dimension style. I'm going to start with the radius. This will have a signification of R prior to the dimension, and we are creating a radius of 1 for the arc. Anytime that it is an arc, it is dimensioned in radius, and anytime that it is a circle or a complete diameter, the leader line, the shoulder, the diameter symbol, all of this take place at one time. When dimensioning arcs and circles, there are just a few rules you want to keep in mind. Do not dimension horizontal or vertical. The leader line blends into the center mark, and this is just from old drafting standards. When you had your triangles, you can make any combination of 15 degrees. We don't need to make a measurement that this is a 15-degree angle on the leader line. It just can't be vertical or horizontal. It cannot be confused with any other dimension. We've avoided dimensioning on the object, and we have now dimensioned circles or holes and also a radius. The fillets, yes, they are a radius, but just like the sheet that you're working from, if I go and put all of these little radius dimensions on here, and it's just a byproduct of AutoCAD, it makes this continuous arc to extend out from the arc. It really makes this confusing. Is this part of the drawing? But dimension notes or radius notes for fillets and rounds is done in a note. To create a note, we are just adding a text box. The text tool, somewhere in this upper right-hand corner, I'm just going to start typing in all capital letters. All text is capitalized or in standard form. This part does only have fillets on the interior angle. If we rounded off the corners on the outside, they'd be known as rounds. They have a radius, which was noted before, of 0.250, 3 decimal places to match the rest of the dimension text that was created. Note that this font size is 0.2. The dimension font size was 0.18. This is a change that is easy to make. Select the text, type in 0.18, and the font size will adjust. 0.18, enter. There we go. Eventually, 0.18. Got it. Once I've modified the text size, I can then move and place the text. Upper right-hand corner, not obstructing any views, not overlapping any other dimensions. So we have dimensioned radius, diameter. We've added a dimensioning note by adding a text box, matching the font size and style. Change the number of decimal places from 2 to 3 for this part. I've included all the dimensions. I have not double dimensioned. I am missing a dimension. Good thing I referenced my preliminary one. I'm missing a 0.5 dimension. Again, this one cannot be placed in between the extension lines. It's too long, so leave it out here. If at all possible, we want the dimensions between the extension lines.